All right, so it is 5:31. We'll go ahead and give folks a couple more minutes to see if anyone else will be jumping on with us. All right, so we are at 5:32. In the interest of time, we'll go ahead and get started. We actually only have one attendee right now, and that's Collective Properties LLC. I believe you were on our first meeting. I'm gonna go ahead and unmute you to see if you want us to give the presentation again. I'm happy to do so, or if you had any specific feedback you wanted to give, you're able to unmute on your end if you want to jump in at all. Oh, I saw you unmute and then remute. You can also use the chat function if that's easier. All right, I'm not seeing any movement there. Angela, would you like me to give the presentation again?
Yeah, why don't we go ahead and then if this individual, again, you can interrupt us at any time if you've already seen the presentation and just have questions or want to provide feedback. So if you don't want to hear the same presentation twice, we get it. If you're a new person under this LLC, we're happy to give it again.
All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen. So you should all be able to see the correct screen. So again, my name is Lauren Knox. I am a senior planner here with Development Services at the City of Reno, and I also have Angela.
Hi, and I'm Angela Foos. I'm the Assistant Director for Development Services.
All right, so let's first touch a little bit briefly on the purpose of today's meeting. So we're currently updating our sign code, and the purpose of this meeting is to really let you know what it is we're doing with that update, but try and keep it really tailored to the downtown businesses in terms of what's in place today. And then we're also seeking feedback from downtown businesses on the sign code, how it exists today, as well as potential futures. So just to give some further background on how we got where we're at. So in June of 2022, Council initiated the sign code text amendment. We engaged with the sign consultant in the fall timeframe of 2022, assuming kind of that we'd have to do a full sign code rewrite. It'd been a while since we had a brand new sign code, so we assumed that would be the case there. In the spring of 2023, we held some initial sign stakeholder meetings to discuss what should be included. In September of 2024, we held the second round of sign stakeholder meetings to go over some of the proposed red line amendments that we had come up with based on that initial stakeholder feedback. And then in this past October, we brought this forward, the draft proposed changes to the Planning Commission to also garner their feedback. From there, they actually provided feedback that they wanted us to engage the downtown businesses. So that's where we're at today. again, that downtown business stakeholder engagement. So again, this is, initially we just started some discussions on our full sign code. This was spring 2023. The general feedback that we received was that our sign code really needed to be simplified, but overall it wasn't actually terrible, which was surprising for us. So there were some inconsistencies in there, some formatting issues, unclear language. Staff on our end had numerous implementation issues with our current sign standards and how we go about those. And then we also were informed that we really needed to address content neutrality. So again, that's kind of a legal piece in terms of what we can look at on the sign, and content is generally something that we are not allowed to look at when looking at signs. So the area is not proposed to change. These are things that we did not touch. A majority of it is actually being left in its current form. So again, this is overall for the whole city, not just downtown. We did not touch off-premise or billboard regulations. There's been substantial discussion in the past regarding that specific topic. Digital and animated signs, we did not touch either. There was also substantial conversation about that piece, specific actually to the nits. So that's the way that you measure the light coming off of a sign. There was a lot of conversation about that in the past. We did not touch that. And gas station signs are actually a conversation had in the past as well. And gas station signs are actually regulated by the Nevada revised statutes. So we also did not touch that piece. So big picture, again, for the overall city, not just downtown, some of the general issues we had some missing zoning district regulations. So in our sign code, we have a table that basically outlines each of our zoning districts, and each of those zoning districts then has associated sign standards. So things like height, wall sign area, if they can be illuminated or not, if you can have flashing or animated signs. So we recognized that we actually had a few missing zoning districts, so we wanted to address that piece. We also updated some definitions. So for example, we have freestanding signs. Generally, those can be pole signs, they can be monument signs. There were some general questions on what that really looked like and what that was. So again, monument signs, this is the McDonald's sign here on the left, that's a monument sign, but we didn't have a definition for what that sign looked like and how it was different than a pole sign. So we updated those definitions, and then we also added, again, that content neutrality piece. So putting in a statement there to say we're not looking at the content of the sign, we're looking at these design features of the sign. Some other general issues. So we had some difficulty. This was, I mentioned earlier, staff also had some difficulty implementing these pieces of code. But one of the examples we like to give is, it's a little bit difficult to see, but you can see here this red arrow. For example, we allow for square footage to be doubled on arterial roadways. Now, we went back and said, okay, well, what is an arterial roadway? You would think that's a pretty straightforward thing, when in reality, it's really not. There are a variety of different entities that define arterial roadways, so that wasn't clear. And then we also have on here with a posted speed limit greater than 35 miles an hour. Okay, well, speed limits also change. Sign, you can have a sign go in that was under that 35 miles an hour, and then suddenly the speed limit changed on that roadway, and suddenly the sign's non-conforming. So there was just a lot of difficulties in doing that. We also noticed, and again, our stakeholders provided this feedback as well, but we had 13 footnotes on the regulation table. So we really wanted to clean that up. We did that by integrating them into the table as much as possible, or removed or clarified where needed. We also had a variety of different types of entitlement review. So we tried to make that consistent and say, okay, if there was a entitlement review required, we want that to be a major site plan review. That goes through our planning commission. So you may be asking yourself then, how does this impact existing signage or an existing sign that you might have? Any change that we propose would not impact existing signage. We have existing non-conforming regulations, which would allow for existing signage to remain regardless of any changes to the sign code. Your sign still has to be maintained, it has to be kept in good condition, but we're not going to have someone have to take down their sign because we've changed code. This happens pretty frequently. Again, building codes change all the time. No one requires that the building be brought up to code just because we changed our code. And then no changes are proposed to the casino, or what we call a legally established non-restricted gaming facility sign standards. So again, what we're really here today to talk about is the downtown, specifically the downtown entertainment district. So within this district, there has been virtually no limits on signage for over 2 decades. Changes to the name of the district and the area have been slightly modified, but there really has been intentionally this unlimited signage in the city's downtown district since 2001. So there's a little bit of misinformation out there, but this is a fact that we should probably understand while trying to have this conversation here regarding what we want to see in downtown, in the entertainment district specifically. So we're looking for some feedback here. In the current proposed changes, we are not proposing to give or take away anything at this point. We're really proposing to maintain that signage allowance that was in the downtown entertainment district. There was quite a bit of public feedback received with that piece, specifically with that concern on that allowance of the larger, more unlimited signage. So Planning Commission with that gave us some direction to get feedback from downtown businesses regarding that specific piece. So with that, we would like to hear what's desired in terms of signs for the downtown entertainment district. We want to hear from businesses in terms of what it is that you envision for signage here, what it is that works for you. Did you know that these regulations even existed? Is the large signage something that you're interested in doing? Is there something that's been holding you back? I mean, there are a variety of pieces we can talk about with regards to signage in the downtown area. And then just some general information on next steps and input. So any input that you might have, go ahead and send it to me, provide it at this meeting if you'd like, or any of the other stakeholder meetings. We have another one scheduled for tomorrow. But again, I'm available via email for any comments that you do have. The next step here would be bringing this before our city council. We are tentatively looking at doing that again, just for feedback in December. We want to provide the council with the feedback we received from Planning Commission, as well as any feedback that we receive here tonight, and through any of the other stakeholder meetings. And then at this point, we are anticipating a final ordinance adoption in early 2025 regarding sign regulations. And that's overall for the whole city. This particular stakeholder meeting is focused on that downtown entertainment area. So with that, we'll go ahead and open it up now for any comments, any discussion on the downtown signage. And if you you can virtually raise your hand. There's a bottom bar that has the raise hand function there if you want to give any comment. All right, I am not seeing anyone wishing to speak at this time. Again, if you do have any comments, oh, Lori, I see you there. Let me unmute you. Okay, you should be able to unmute on your end, Lori.
Thank you. I just was wondering, was there any comments at the meeting yesterday? I was out of town and I couldn't attend. And I was wondering if any of the business owners showed up or came and had comments.
There were a few business owners on the meeting, but there were no comments provided at the meeting.
And then are you going to be posting this these meetings online so we can review the videotapes later if we wanted to?
Yes, absolutely. After tomorrow's meeting, we'll get those all downloaded and re-uploaded on our webpage where they've been located, the other ones. So they will be there for anyone to review.
Okay. And are there any business owners there tonight reviewing this? I can't tell from my end who's in attendance.
We had one business owner on earlier and then they dropped off about halfway through. So you were the only one on with us tonight.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I won't waste your time. But we don't agree with whether they've had it for 20 years or not. And we did have 185 people that did say they didn't want you to move forward with this. I think that maybe something that was never discussed before is, what makes a business district attractive? And it's not usually signs. It's usually wide sidewalks, pedestrian amenities, trees, things like that. Sign control, actually, rather than unlimited signage. So just food for thought, and maybe I'll join in tomorrow too. Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate it.
That's great comments. I appreciate your feedback there. And yeah, we appreciate you joining us tonight.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.